Hey everybody, my name is Brendan Hines. That's nice of you. This is Chris Pine. That's nice of you too. How many people were seeing POOLMAN for the first time tonight? I would assume so. You too? You just saw it for the first time?
I did. Well, I mean, through new eyes.
Oh, okay. Through new eyes. Has anyone here, I'm just curious, how many people here, just because we might get into this at some point, how many people here have seen Chinatown?
Oh, yeah.
Cool. All right. If we have time, get some questions ready, have them at the ready, and if we have time afterwards, I'll ask some of them. Chris Pine, co-writer, director, star of POOLMAN.
Yeah.
Do you consider yourself baby girl coded?
Start with the hard-hitting questions, Brendan. Yeah. We just learned what that meant. It's probably not, it's not acceptable for public conversation.
Well, I want to start, I want to ask you, I want to answer a question. Do you know what my favorite line in this movie is?
No.
My favorite line in the movie is when June first comes to the pool and she says that she's now working for the council, the councilman, and she says, things change. And you say, well, they shouldn't. And it's a throwaway line, maybe. The way you deliver it is thrown away.
Yeah.
And every time I've seen this film, and actually when I read the script too, it to me is a very funny line. The way you deliver it is fantastic. But as the film goes on, I realize, to me anyway, that is what the film feels like it's about. The kernel of the theme is right there in that line, because Darren is a preservationist, is someone who is obsessed with honoring the past, and rightly so, but he's also someone who can't move forward and can't progress. And I wanted to see what you thought about that.
Yeah, I do
what that
remember.
brings up
I
for
sure
you.
remember you laughing at an early screening, and that brought a smile to my face. But yeah, as you can see in the film, Darren is very much like me in real life, and I'm an LA lover and an LA, much of a preservationist. I love the architecture of Los Angeles. I get angry when I see buildings being built specifically now, especially out about Santa Monica and Cahuenga, that look like they're made out of paper mache in a dream. And then you look at these beautiful things we used to build, just gorgeous things for the sake of beauty, and it really bums me out. And it was kind of given to me by my mother. My mother grew up here in Beverly Hills, and we'd drive all over Los Angeles, and she'd say, "This is where Fatty Arbuckle used to live," and then she'd tell me Fatty Arbuckle's story. And I went to school with Clark Gable's children, and this is the house here, and telling me stories about the Beverly Hills Hotel. So I'm very much my mother in that way. And I think in terms of emotionally, as you said, you know, for instance, the setting of the film, which has thrown some people, it's why I tell people in the beginning to kind of just relax and go on the ride, is because it's this liminal space between the imaginative world and something real. You know, it's LA as we know it, and it's also not. It's the imagination of this boy man. And this boy man being me, being Darren, I think got stuck around 8 years old in around 1988. So the way that he sees the world is this particular way that he sees the world, a time of no cell phones, a time of pay phones, a time of CD players, a time of certain cars. So there's part of it that's an aesthetic choice on my part, that I just find that a more romantic time, because that was a time I didn't want to change, that time in youth when it's all possibility and magic. And it's also very much a part of the character, for sure. And I am an analog kind of guy, and I bemoan and I romanticize deeply what was.
In terms of the headspace that you and Ian were at when you were writing POOLMAN, I mean, obviously it was during the initial stage of quarantine, if we're using that term. But what kind of, in terms of like wanting to play this role, did you ever think, was part of it you trying to write something that you didn't think otherwise you were going to be able to play?
No, at all. There's like, no, I didn't honestly try to do anything. Like, this was a story that came to me and it made me smile, and I just followed that smile to the end of the rainbow. It was like, Poolman named Darren Behrman. It's like a giggle. It's not like a laugh out. It's not a Will Ferrell comedy. It's like, yeah, it's kind of fun. I just followed that vibe for as long as I could go. And it's certainly something that I thought was like, man, Sam Rockwell would be good in this. And I had a couple ideas for writers of who I thought would be really good. But as I just kind of kept on getting into it, it kept on being more and more fun and more and more fun. And really, I think the character speaks to a side of me that's this awkward, perpetually 14-year-old boy who felt very alone. And the way that I dealt with it as a kid is to go into humor, because that's how I would cover for feeling so sad. So I didn't want to make a sad film about a boy that was alone, that didn't know how to love, that realized that his mother had abandoned him. I wanted to make like that wrapped up in this other thing of silliness, of play. I really wanted to get back to this idea of playfulness, is that as actors that people can take themselves very seriously, and but ultimately we all want to become 5-year-olds again, to play, and playing anything's possible. And I wanted this to have the spirit of anything's possible. So yeah, in my film I wanted a moment during a stakeout scene, barely, where people are fighting and talking over one another, for Diane Esplanade to have this beautiful monologue about what it means to be, despairing. I was like, because that exists in real life, something will be tragic and then sad, and it'll all happen, as I said when I introduced the film, in a continuum that is just life. So, yeah.
Technically speaking, were you intimidated by the act of directing on a technical level?
Yeah, I was very intimidated by it, for sure. I went to Panavision and got to play with all these spectacular lenses, and talked to Dan Sasaki, he is the master lens maker at Panavision, and I tried everything, Cook lenses and C-series Panavision, and then I ended up with these gorgeous Baltar lenses that Gordon Willis shot on The Godfather. Because I wanted, what I don't aesthetically like about filmmaking most of the times, I don't like hyper clarity. I feel like we live in a land of just stimulus overload. And what I like about the patina of an older film, which I wanted to imbue my film with, is that there are soft lines, and there are, I feel the way that film and certain lenses handle actors' faces is kinder, it's more magical, it's more romantic, it's more, you lean into the image rather than being assaulted by Netflix, so that was very important to me. But once I kind of had a language of how I wanted to tell the story, then you just kind of, I play it like a record. You read the script over and over again, and you get exactly what you want in your head of how you want to tell the story. And by the end of the day, it becomes exactly what it should be, at least in your brain. And then I have my little MFA class with, Patty, or who produced the Patty Jenkins, or Stacy, who's worked with Quentin Tarantino and Soderbergh. And then I talk to my friends who are directors, and they all give helpful advice. But at the end of the day, it's your party, which was kind of scary, yeah.
Doesn't have to be literal at all. In fact, better if it's not. But what would be an ideal double or triple bill for you that Poolman could find itself on?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind, there are two films that come to mind, and that I was watching a lot of over quarantine. It was definitely, Ashby has a deep influence on me, so being there was tremendously impactful. Peter Sellers specifically. I mean, there's a picture of Peter Sellers, Cary Grant, and Peter O'Toole above the bed while I'm having sex with my girlfriend Susan Kurkovich. which are three definite kind of qualities of. Cary Grant is one of my idols. He's the most charming man on the planet. Peter O'Toole is bombastic beyond belief. He takes the screen and eats everything in it to the point that it almost cannot handle it. And Peter Sellers, he does many things, but what he does beautifully, especially in Being There, is he plays everything about that big. And I wanted Darren to have all of those qualities, every single ounce of all of those qualities. But Being There, specifically, the idea of the innocent, and the idea of the innocent walking through a jaded world and then ultimately having this quite cathartic spiritual moment at the end, which I had my own version of with Darren having his kind of moment of realization while he's sitting on the bed. What's Up, Doc, which was Bogdanovich's, 60s version of a screwball comedy, was definitely in my brain. Oh, what else? So those two. I don't know. What would your third be?
Lawrence of Arabia.
Oh, yes, of course.
Well, there's no water.
Oh, you.
And one of the things that I find very refreshing about any movie these days that is coming out is anything that is not based on some pre-existing IP, not a resuscitation of a former franchise, but an original thought that came from somebody's head and that is being shown in a theater. I find that watching comedy at home alone, you just don't tend to laugh out loud as much. And I think that watching something in a theater with a bunch of people is one of the most enjoyable ways to watch any film. Yes, you can clap for that. So thank you all for coming out and making it happen. Do you want to take some questions?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.